Sit back and enjoy these 14 One Piece theories. Remember to like and follow.
Dragon's hidden network in the East Blue. Theory. Monkey D. Dragon, the leader of the Revolutionary Army, had a more established and active intelligence network within the East Blue than was initially apparent. This network provided him with crucial information, allowing him to be in Logtown at the exact moment to save Luffy from Smoker.
Evidence reasoning. Dragon's calm demeanor and his statement about the wind changing in Logtown suggest a deeper understanding of ongoing events. It's unlikely he simply stumbled upon Luffy. Instead, he likely had discreet agents or sympathizers in various towns, perhaps even among common citizens or minor officials, who fed him information about significant movements and rising figures like Luffy. This would explain his seemingly omniscient presence and his precise intervention, hinting at a long-term strategy for gathering intelligence on the world government's influence and observing potential catalysts for change in the weakest sea.
Mihawk's secret assessment of the will of D. So what is the theory? Dracula Mihawk's pursuit of Zoro in the East Blue, which led to his encounter with Luffy, was not a random act of leisure, but a deliberate, albeit subtle attempt to observe the emerging will of powerful new pirates, possibly even a subconscious pull towards a manifestation of the will of D.
Why this theory makes sense. As the world's greatest swordsman and a Shichibukai, Mihawk's time is undoubtedly valuable. Traveling all the way to the East Blue just to fight a rookie swordsman seems disproportionate. This theory suggests Mihawk, being keenly aware of power dynamics and significant individuals, might have sensed a unique potential or an emerging will, similar to Gol D. Rogers, emanating from the East Blue. While Zoro is not a D, his extraordinary ambition likely drew Mihawk's attention. The encounter then inadvertently allowed Mihawk to observe Luffy's own formidable will and ambition, leading to his later increased interest in the Straw Hat Pirates. Like and follow for more.
Buggy's unrecognized Roger legacy. So what is the theory? The treasure map Buggy possessed in Orangetown, which he believed led to Captain John's fortune, was actually a decoy or a fragment of a larger puzzle left by Gol D. Roger himself, subtly hinting at or containing a piece of information related to the Void Century, or the true nature of the world.
Right, so here is the evidence behind this theory. Buggy was an apprentice on Roger's ship, making him privy to some of Roger's actions and perhaps even his hidden intentions. Even if Buggy didn't fully grasp them, Roger, knowing he would be executed, might have left subtle clues or minor treasures in his home sea, the East Blue, that to most would seem like ordinary pirate loot, but held a deeper, unrevealed significance. Buggy's single-minded greed would prevent him from seeing beyond the monetary value. The treasure could have been a coded message, a specific type of ancient material, or a key to another location, making Buggy an unwitting guardian of a small part of Roger's legacy. If you have watched this far, please like, share, and follow.
The Revolutionary Army's strategic interest in ancient weapons and royal families. Okay, so here is the premise. Dragon, Monkey D. Luffy's father and the leader of the Revolutionary Army, was briefly introduced in Logtown, hinting at his vast influence. The Alabasta arc explicitly introduces the ancient weapon Pluton and highlights the Nefertari family's unique historical ties, particularly their refusal to become world nobles.
Now, what is the theory? The Revolutionary Army isn't just fighting for freedom. They are actively seeking out the ancient weapons and potentially forming alliances with historical royal families who hold secrets to the Void Century. Dragon's presence near Luffy in Logtown wasn't a coincidence, but a part of his overall strategy. It's theorized that the Revolutionary Army views the ancient weapons as crucial leverage against the tyrannical world government. They might believe that if the government possesses or reveals such power, it would lead to even greater oppression. Therefore, their goal isn't necessarily to use the weapons for destruction, but to find and perhaps secure, or even destroy them to prevent the world government from gaining ultimate control, or to unveil the true history that the world government suppresses. Vivi's family, with their unique historical position and knowledge of a poneglyph, could become a key target or ally for Dragon's forces in the future.
Arlong's search for a Grand Line gateway, the theory. Arlong's choice to establish his empire in the East Blue, specifically around Kokoyesi village, was not just about dominating a weaker sea, but was driven by a specific long-term goal to find or create a hidden backdoor or advantageous route to the Grand Line, bypassing typical dangers or marine surveillance.
Where does this theory come from? Arlong is a powerful fishman who came from the Grand Line. His obsession with mapping the surrounding sea and his disdain for humans from the East Blue make his prolonged stay somewhat peculiar, beyond simple oppression. It's plausible he possessed knowledge from his time in the Grand Line about a unique sea current, an unmapped passage, or even a strategic choke point within the East Blue that, if controlled, could offer a significant advantage for returning to the Grand Line or for future fishman operations, allowing his crew to avoid more heavily patrolled routes or dangerous areas. His mapping efforts could have been a prelude to exploiting such a discovery.
Smoker's preternatural read on Luffy's destiny. So what is the theory? Smoker's immediate and unwavering obsession with capturing Luffy from their first encounter in Logtown was not just typical marine duty, but an almost preternatural intuition or an early undeveloped form of observation haki that allowed him to sense Luffy's unique and profound destiny. Don't forget to like the video.
Okay, so here is the evidence for this theory. Smoker's pursuit of Luffy becomes a central theme, distinguishing him from other early Saga Marine officers. He doesn't exhibit the same level of personal focus on other pirates, even more notorious ones at the time. This theory suggests that Smoker, possessing an unusual perception or a nascent ability to read individuals' potential, recognized something fundamentally different and supremely significant about Luffy. A will or a destiny that mirrored Gall de Rogers. This strong, inherent understanding fueled his relentless chase, making Luffy his primary target not just for justice, but because Smoker subconsciously understood Luffy would become a monumental force in the world. Now time to like, share, and follow.
Nico Robin's true purpose and the poneglyphs as keys to the Void Century's revelation theory. Note this theory is for anyone who hasn't finished the Alabasta arc.
Okay, so what is the premise to this theory? Nico Robin is introduced as an antagonist, Ms. All Sunday, a mysterious archaeologist working for Crocodile. Her motivation for joining Baroque works seems tied to her desire to find the poneglyphs. She is shown to be able to read them.
Now, what really is this theory? Nico Robin is not truly evil or simply seeking power for Crocodile. Her ultimate goal is to uncover the true history of the Void Century, which the world government has meticulously suppressed. Her alliance with Crocodile is merely a means to an end, a pragmatic choice to gain access to poneglyphs that she wouldn't otherwise be able to reach. It's theorized that the poneglyphs are not just historical records, but crucial pieces of a larger puzzle. When combined or read in a specific order, they will reveal the complete story of the Void Century, the ancient kingdom, and the truth behind the world government's formation. Robin's true nature will be revealed as a scholar, driven by a thirst for forbidden knowledge, and she might eventually seek to join a crew that values discovery and freedom, like the Straw Hats, to complete her life's mission.
Pluton is a blueprint for an entire ancient kingdom's defensive system, not just a single ship.
Let's look at the premise behind this theory first. The ancient weapon Pluton is described as a battleship capable of immense destruction, with its blueprint located somewhere in Alabasta.
Okay, so what is the theory? Pluton is far more than just a single powerful warship. It's a comprehensive blueprint for an entire network or system of ancient weaponry and defensive mechanisms, perhaps even a design for an entire city or a fleet of powerful vessels. The poneglyph in Alabasta might only contain the key, or the master plan, for activating or constructing a much larger, more sophisticated array of ancient technology. This system, if fully realized, could reshape the world's geography, control weather patterns, or even possess the capability to destroy entire islands with precision. Crocodile's pursuit of it wasn't just for a single weapon, but for the potential to control an unparalleled ancient infrastructure. The ship aspect might just be one component, or a simplified description of a much more complex ancient military-industrial complex designed to protect the ancient kingdom. Remember to like, share, and follow.
Crocodile's hidden ties to the world government and the abyss of Impel Down.
Let's begin with the premise behind this theory. Crocodile is one of the 7 warlords of the sea, implying a working relationship with the world government. However, his actions in Alabasta are clearly against their rules, and he is trying to seize a kingdom. His defeat leads to his imprisonment.
Okay, so what is the theory? Crocodile possesses a deeper, perhaps scandalous connection to the world government that extends beyond his warlord status. It's theorized that he might have previously worked for or been involved with a darker, more covert faction within the world government or even with the Marines before becoming a warlord. His obsession with Alabasta and Pluton might stem from information he gained through these past connections. Furthermore, his swift and decisive transport to Impel Down suggests the world government wants to silence him quickly, hinting that he knows secrets that could severely compromise their image or expose their own dark dealings. Perhaps his past involved a direct challenge to the celestial dragons, or he holds knowledge about a clandestine operation that the government would go to great lengths to keep hidden, making him too dangerous to simply execute.
Vivi's royal bloodline carries a dormant will of D, connection or ancient secret.
Let's dig in to the premise of this theory. Nefertari Vivi is the princess of Alabasta, and her family has a unique history as one of the original 20 kingdoms that formed the world government. Yet they refuse to become celestial dragons. This sets them apart. Before we look at the theory, please give this video a like. It helps so much and it's free.
Now on to the theory. The Nefertari family's refusal to become celestial dragons is not just a point of pride. It's a deliberate act rooted in their ancient knowledge and possibly a connection to the Will of D, or the ancient kingdom. It's theorized that their lineage carries a dormant will, or a specific genetic or historical memory that sets them apart from the other world nobles. Perhaps they were secretly allied with the ancient kingdom, or they possess a hidden duty passed down through generations to protect a crucial secret related to the Void Century, even more profound than the poneglyph's location. Vivi, as a member of this lineage, might unknowingly possess a similar destiny or a role to play in the grand events of the world, much like Luffy. Her family's unique historical stance suggests a deeply ingrained opposition to the world government's true nature, hinting at a forgotten pact or a solemn vow made centuries ago.
The City of Gold was linked to the ancient kingdom. Let's look at the premise behind this. The ruins of Shandora and its history of fighting for the poneglyph suggest that Shandora may have been allied with or part of the ancient kingdom that opposed the 20 kingdoms who later formed the world government.
Before we look at the theory, here's some key evidence from Skypiea. The presence of a poneglyph deep within Shandora's ruins. Robin discovers a message on the poneglyph left by Gold D. Roger, showing he visited there. Shandians were known as a warrior race who protected the poneglyph, even if it cost them their lives.
Now, on to the theory. Shandora was a satellite city, or stronghold, of the ancient kingdom, tasked with protecting a piece of history from the Void Century. The Golden Bell was not just a symbol of wealth, but a beacon to call allies or pass messages, as Roger did with the message about the Rio poneglyph.
Enel's moon dream foreshadows an interplanetary civilization. What is the premise behind this theory? Enel's obsession with the moon and his final journey there may hint that the One Piece world was once connected with civilizations beyond Earth, possibly lost due to the events of the Void Century.
Now, what is the key evidence for this theory? From Skypiea, Enel declares his plan to reach the fairy Verth, which he believes is the moon. The Arc Maxim is powered by electrical energy and dials, which seem advanced for One Piece technology. Skypiea's origins show that island floating technology exists, suggesting ancient advanced tech.
Now on to the theory. Note that the moon may contain remnants of a lost civilization or be a colony of the ancient kingdom. Enel, unknowingly, may have reconnected a broken link from the past. This suggests that spacefaring technology existed before the world government came to power and was later suppressed.
The D-clan are inheritors of the sky and earth.
Before we look at the theory, let's have a look at the premise behind it. Luffy's impact on Skypiea and the symbolic act of ringing the golden bell might suggest that those with the will of D are destined to reunite the sky, sea, and land, undoing a separation created during the Void Century.
Looking at the Skypiea arc, let's look at some evidence for this theory. Luffy's decision to ring the bell is seen as a call from the sky to the earth. Mont Blanc Cricket's family had waited generations for proof of the city in the sky. Luffy is called a natural enemy of gods. Enel considers himself one.
Now let's look at the theory. The will of D signifies descendants of people from a time when the world was united before the Void Century. Their purpose is to restore the true shape of the world, which includes reuniting civilizations separated by force, ideology, or geography, like Skypiea and Jaya.
The Sky Islands are the result of ancient terraforming.
First, let's look into the premise behind this theory. The existence of various sky islands and the presence of Verth, fertile soil, in Skypiea suggests that the world may have once been manipulated through advanced terraforming technology.
Before we go into the theory, let's look at some key evidence from Skypiea arc. Verth is considered incredibly rare and valuable in the sky. The upper yard is part of Jaya that was blasted into the sky by the knock-up stream. The Cloud Sea and Cloud Island materials defy logic and standard physics.
Now on to the theory. The Sky Islands weren't naturally formed, but were artificially created during or before the Void Century using advanced weather and geographic control technologies, possibly by the Ancient Kingdom. This technology may have been lost or hidden, explaining the scarcity of Verth and how isolated communities like Skypiea survive.